But yeah, we are going to get started with some Loki, season 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
And I guess we should start with some non-spoilers maybe.
Sure.
I'd have to say that I am super happy with like how this picks up right off season 1. I think I was expecting maybe definitely like a multiverse plot, but the way they've written this plot for this season, like I'm super excited for it. I don't want to like say it because it might be spoilers. But I love the gimmick. I love the new characters they've added.
The gimmick, yeah.
And this might be a little bit of a spoiler for my Ahsoka review, but like coming from Ahsoka to that, it was a very refreshing sense of style, like to see some real style, I guess, in cinematography and directing was very nice.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's my thoughts. Unspoilery thoughts.
Yeah, I get unspoilery. I will say that it was really refreshing to have. I feel like Loki, even back in season 1, musically, tonally, has a very unique sound and tone to, musically, and also kind of the world of its kind absolutely. Of this strange. It's weird. It's
like a darker, grittier, almost not in the gritty in like a normal sense, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, it is a bit darker, serious, but it's juxtaposed with this. It works in the same way that it's drawing from like this 50s sort of office thriller thing. But it I don't know, it works well. It's even though it's got this like lighthearted, weird, like why is everything so like 1950s with the technology?
Sure, yeah. They still don't really explain that, but
Yeah. And I think I agree. I like that it picks up right away. I like how you're immediately picking up right where we left off, so things feel a bit more like it felt like. I feel like ever since the end of season 1, I've missed the consequences of what that meant, or it didn't feel like Kang was a big threat. And
that's
now
the biggest thing.
It was treated like it was. So
it was like they were like, it's like they somehow immediately fixed Quantumania's mistakes and was like, yeah, let's make this guy intimidating again and actually scary.
Right.
We never saw him in the episode. It was just the
voice,
the talk
recorded.
about him.
Yeah.
Sure, that too. But like, just the way Loki talked about him, like he was like a truly terrifying dude, and like, yeah, I mean the reveal of like the war room, like to the people, like that's a little spoilery, but like it's really well done. But yeah, I'm ready to get in spoilers if you are.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I mean, what I was hinting at earlier, the big twist of this season is that like, and I'm sure you saw it in all the trailers, is that, basically Loki is like teleporting somehow or
time
morphing
slipping
between. Sure, yeah, they call it time slipping in the trailers too. But yeah, he's time slipping, and I think we all thought it was like, oh, he's time slipping between different universes, but it seems to be the same universe, just in a separate time. And like years ago, and one other time where he goes to the future. But yeah, basically you get to see the TVA when it was actually like truthfully ruled by Kang, like when he was the actual figurehead and not the 3 like robots, the Time Elders that he like, put up there. And yeah, you get to learn that like he's like, whenever he goes back in the past, like he makes like the consequences of his actions impact the future, where like he crashed into like the middle of the TVA floor and there was a big crack in it, and you saw that crack in the future when it wasn't there before, which is super exciting. I love that, type of storytelling in a way. I think like the concept is exciting, but it like definitely breaks the rules of like Avengers time travel. So sure. I'm curious to see like why this is happening. I mean, and I like the fact that like all the characters are like, this is impossible. How is this happening?
Right.
And because it is like it for the universe rules, it is impossible. So at least they're sticking to that. But yeah, I think the concept itself is really exciting.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably write it off that the TVA in itself is kind of this thing that doesn't like time.
It's like one entity.
Yeah, and they even say like time works differently here. So in its own way, is this how time would necessarily work?
Right.
Maybe not, probably not. But it's interesting to watch, and as like an audience member, I think it's easy to follow and it's done pretty well. Because I like you said, the crack in the floor, and it was like you didn't really know for a while, was he in a different reality? Was he in the future? Was he in the past?
Yeah.
Like you didn't really know.
Because we all at the end of last season thought he was in a different reality.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So
and I kind of prefer that it's this.
You do?
Yeah, I kind of prefer that it's the past, present, future.
I can't say I prefer it, but I'm definitely not like bummed out by it. Like I think I was wanting the other thing, but I'm super happy with what we have. So, not a bonus or a deterrent for me.
I think it wouldn't make sense when I think about it that he'd be in a different reality, because if he's just in the TVA, like, would there be a different reality?
Why would there be different TVAs? There should just be one TVA. I feel you. It was confusing, the concept. Yeah. When it was,
but at the same time, I guess they do say that like all of them are variants of other TVA members. So maybe it wouldn't be that.
Sure.
It's a little,
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, is it perfect in telling everything? Right. I don't think so, but maybe that's part of the mystery. I don't know. But, I do like the things that I like. I like Ke-Huy Quan in this episode.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing. Like the first conversation you have with him is like, it's perfect. He's like wonderfully quirky, and he's super frank with everyone. And yeah, I don't know. I love that's one of the things I love the most in this episode was when Loki time slipped into the past, and like he was having a conversation with past Obi, and Mobius was having a conversation with present Obi, and like when Loki would tell him things in the past, he would like gain new memories in the present time, and it was like that was amazing. I thought that was so cleverly done. So this show's got some really great ideas, but yeah, I mean, like through all of this time slipping he does, you eventually learn that like, all the people who are here in the past, like Mobius and Casey and Obi, all had their memories wiped because they don't remember this time where Kang was the ruler of the TVA.
Right.
And and so he has to reveal it to like the people who are in charge now. That there was a wall that, I mean, to be honest, he covered up his mural pretty badly in the war room. If you could just stab it with if you could just stab it with a little stick.
Which I also go like, how would he know that like that it would still be there?
Yeah, you wouldn't. But he took a good guess and it was still there. And
because otherwise he'd just like smack it into the wall and nothing would happen. You'd be like, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I thought the reveal of that was really exciting, and he's obviously terrified of Kang, and
which, by the way, when I do think like I like that he is, but if we think about it, what is he so terrified of? He's not seen anything. I think he full like I see no reason for Loki not to trust what he says at the end, and if Loki has like. Basically, this guy is like, I conquered the universe and made sure this timeline is staying how I want it, and that alone is an insane amount of power. Like, I don't think Loki ever got close to conquering the entire universe. No, I mean he couldn't even conquer New York.
Right. So, I think he's scared of just the immense power this guy has, and the fact there's going to be millions of them.
Sure.
Like he gets what's coming.
No, I like it. I just, when I think about it, I'm like, it's
now.
But I
go on.
As much as like there are things I like about this episode, there's also other things like when you brought up the war room.
Yeah.
There's things in this episode that are a bit kind of cheesy. Like
the general.
Like the general. And talk like having this very strange, very paternal or something hug with the other member, the TVA member who shows up and is like going after Sylvie, and there were just things about the conversation in the war room that felt a bit silly at times.
But I mean, like a lot of the characters are silly, you know. I feel like that is kind of like the contrast and this like dark vibe the show has.
Yeah. I don't know. There were things,
but you don't love it. Yeah.
There's just things about it that like there are things that are silly, like the suit that Mobius has to put on is silly looking.
Sure.
And like a lot of the premise of it all looking 1950s sort of sci-fi sort of thing is silly. But it's just like kind of like a Marvelism thing that just like, or I don't know. It's just a bit strange, but that's kind of my only complaint with that, I guess.
Sure.
It just feels sometimes weird.
Yeah, I can't say. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I can't say that's like necessarily a big complaint at all for me, or even really a minor one. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll feel differently as the season goes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did like the heist at the end where, he has to get Loki back from time slipping, and he's like, and Loki's gone into the future, and he sees Sylvie, and then someone like prunes him from the back, and so I saw the theory, which I thought was neat, was that the reason like Sylvie said at the end to Loki, like, didn't she say something like "there you are" or something, or like something like that, and people think she's talking to the person behind Loki, and that person is also like future Loki. So I don't know. I think that's neat that like maybe future Loki knows what's like. There's a time loop he has to like enact for him to like stay where he's at or something. Or
sure, yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to see if that scene comes back into play later on.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah. But then, the end credit scene is that we get Sylvie kind of like walking into 80s McDonald's, and she's very happy. She wants to stay. And so we'll see where that goes.
I'll say the heist had the potential to be really dramatic, but I not for 1 second really thought that he was not going to make it.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I was kind of bummed out because I thought that the time slipping thing would be a mainstay for the rest of the season, which it doesn't seem to be now, because they kind of in one episode said, okay, no, that's, we got to deal with King. But first, let's go take care of this thing where you're time slipping all the time.
I still think it's possible that he like reverses whatever he's done here, because I do feel like from the trailers we saw, he was like, they were all kind of gearing up to like go. I think at one point he says like, all right, go again. And so like, I think they maybe are able to control it, and it's not some random thing like it is in this episode. So I don't know. I guess maybe I'm bummed that it's not going to be as chaotic, but I still think it's going to be around. Yeah.
Maybe. I could be wrong. I just felt like if they were going to do it, I'd hope this isn't the end of it, because that would kind of bum me out.
No, that would be a bummer. Yeah, for sure. Because this episode was fun because of it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit too much of it. I would have liked it to not have to deal with the trying to fix it kind of thing. You know, like, oh no, we have to take care of figure out this Kang situation. Like, I agree practically, you should probably take care of it, but I kind of, because at the end of this episode, there's not like a too much that necessarily happened. And now we're like,
there's not.
We're like 15% of the way through the story.
Yeah, that's the bummer about 6-episode seasons.
But the Sylvie thing, it's a little, I don't know. Everybody's like hyping up, like where it's hyping up, like, oh, Sylvie's gonna be the first scene. She's gonna be in McDonald's, and I was like, I don't know. She's like, I want to try it all, and I'm like, and then they try to play it for a joke, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens next.
Yeah,
but, I mean, like, I just know
that's it. I'm gonna be annoyed.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be a playful thing where she's like, Loki has to like convince her to leave the McDonald's or something. I don't think it's gonna be anything serious. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, just like the first season, I was pretty happy with. So
I'm fairly happy. I kind of would have liked a bit more.
Yeah.
Not to
that's our
bum
thoughts.
Anybody else about like if they liked it or not. It's just
that's your opinion.
Yeah.